Hello everyone, May 3rd, 2015, I guess around 10:30 a.m. or so. Out walking the dog and thought I'd touch base. I had one of my Code with Mike Fridays and did not produce a single video, and that is because I was working on a part of the wiring of the generalized system I'm working on, such that all the really fancy menu-atizable, recipe-atizable intelligence that can be incorporated in is done so in this technique, following the fashion that I'm setting forth here with sheet initializers, shall I call it? It's based on the premise that what I did with the crawl function can be extended in a system-wide capability expanding way. A hook for some additional smarts to plug in. And I started out with a one-page crawl to sort of get that kicked off because of the clarity surrounding collecting links off of a URL and making a row per URL discovered, setting the stage for second-degree lookups. Now you can look up anything you want against each of those URLs that was collected, like YouTube view counts or whatever. And so you start to see the power of being a generic yet rapidly customizable crawler of all sorts of web and internet stuff, and then a second-degree lookup enabler by laying things out in a really easy to conceptualize and plan second stage lookup language, syntax. It's like, oh, I get it. I name a bunch of rows. And so a sheet initializer names a bunch of rows. Those rows get, actually it names a bunch of columns, function names. So those columns get created by those function names getting plugged in on row one, sequentially, one after another, until you've added all that you need. And then for the length of that, you insert rows that have question marks pre-filled in. Bam, you've defined a job. And then this system can be scheduled to be repeated so that that original thing that had question marks instead has asterisks, and it knows to just lay down a series of job definitions each time that time window is open, and then carry out those job definitions so that you have a scheduled job system where the definition of the job is embedded into the data itself. So this is not tied to any particular server. Any server capable of carrying out those jobs can connect to this data, check whether the intended job for the current time window has been carried out, and if not, it does it itself. And hence you have a sort of long-term distributed scalability in sort of a data life cycle, a data history that you can keep expanding by adding code into the Git repository that controls it, customizing your jobs, making new types of job templates, and then making sure you archive this all on your own servers so that the data doesn't only just live in Google Docs, and bam, you could decouple it from Google Docs one day and connect it to some other system that has a better API and user interface for both human-machine equal sharing and access to data. So that's pretty much what I'm doing with the Pipulate project, and I think it's breaking some ground that hasn't been broken before. I think I've been posing it as merely a tool for SEO and social media, which was probably downplaying what I was going after here. I think it's elevated to the level of like a Ruby on Rails type thing, a next level framework once the APIs to interact with the data no longer require a Ruby on Rails? What's the next step up where you intelligently examine, manipulate, collect, and set the stage for further collection of such data, so that you're able to have insights that others don't, and have a competitive edge in marketing and building tribe and reaching who you want to sell to. And yes, it is as much marketing as it is people furthering their individual causes, which I think is a righteous use for the tool that I'm creating. So anyway, that was a little bit of rambling about where I'm at with my current project, Pipulate. So be sure to check out pipulate.com. Check it out at mclevin/pipulate in github.com, and hope to see you soon, and don't forget to subscribe.